But to me, I'm open-minded as an artist, and I like when people get fishy. I looked at it as genius. Like, that's genius to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it.
I think he's a scumbag. He's
he's hurting
he's
people.
A scumbag.
He's ripping people. He's a scumbag. But at the same time, it's cool that people are able to think outside the box and people are
American ingenuity.
Be a self-starter. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, a self-starter.
He went on his own hustle, you know.
There was a guy in there I always think about. There's a couple dudes. There was one dude that was a top Crip that I think about a lot. I think I loved him. I loved him with all my heart. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. He had 14 cars when I met him. And he had 7 women, dog. And they would all come on different schedules. I don't know how the fuck he did it. And he loved Nutter Butters. So he had all of them bring him Nutter Butters. And he sent one of his cronies. He had like 10 motherfuckers around him at all times. And they knock on my thing. Diaz, Cuba, Torrey Powell's looking for you. And I'd walk over there and they'd be outside. Like 4 of them would be outside, 2 in the hallway, 1 in the back. And I'd walk through them like nothing everything. Like, what's up? Yeah, and I'd go back there. What's up? Sit down, man. I got some. And we listen to Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. And eat Nutter Butters and shit.
So this is in Denver, huh?
This is in Denver. So he was a Crip from L.A.
Can I play? I don't know what that song is.
Oh my God! The beginning of it just had, and when in the middle when they would go crazy. The brothers would throw up gang signals and they'd be dancing in the hallways, and it was just a whole. And here's the interesting thing: that it was a Crip army barrack, but they put one white biker in there. His name was Tramp. Mm-hmm. And Tramp was the head of some biker gang at the time, a VP, and he hated black guys. But to bust his balls, they put him in this unit with all these Crips that were straight up cripping in there, selling shit. They would go crazy. They would throw up the gang, and they would all be dancing with Nutter Butters. You can't.
In the video? I mean,
in the videos. They were doing moves on the videos, but there's a part towards the middle when he goes nuts, Bobby Brown. And then they would set up a domino game in the laundry room on Wednesday nights. And they'd be all around the building cripping. But there was one black dude they allowed, and his name was Graveyard. Graveyard had the afro with the bonbons on the side and shit. Graveyard and shit, missing teeth. And he'd be playing and slamming dominoes. But there's a part on here where that part would come on no matter what was cracking. They'd all start fucking dancing. I can't forget that shit, dog. And I would be right in the middle of that shit, howling, loving it, saying, now where are the cameras? Where's the fucking people taking pictures? This was tremendous. This was 16 fucking black dudes with things on. What do you call them? Do-rags and the whole thing. And one Cuban dude just sitting in the back giggling, eating like a tamale, going, what the fuck is this? Tremendous, man.
It's a funny thing about prison stories, because I've never been to prison, and I don't want to be in prison, and nobody wants to be. But when anybody starts talking about prison, even though we don't want to go there, it's not like we're trying to find out about it. Everybody, the whole conversation stops. I'm gonna go tell us about this.
Oh my God!
It's like E.F. Hutton's talking
when
you start telling prison stories, right?
Anytime lockdown or whatever. There's 2 or 3 jail shows, and I'll watch every single one of them. I've seen them all 10 times. It's because it's like a totally. No one, you can't even imagine what that's like. It's from the moment you're born. It's that's where bad people go. So it sounds terrifying.
And I slid my way through.
I never think about it like that. I think about it. That's a place where, I don't know. As a person of color, especially in the in the times we grew up in, that's where you could end up.
Right.
So it's not even you being bad. It's just that's a possibility depending on how your day goes.
It's very easy to get caught up. It's very easy. It's very easy to be just a street guy.
You could be at the wrong house and then all of a sudden, bam.
You sell possession of stolen property. Somebody comes to me with 3 fucking stereos. It's a Wednesday. I know this Honda dealership across the street. Boom. I get off on a fucking probation. Now I'm in a car with you. You got a joint. I go to jail.
So how would you describe yourself at that point? Were you in the wrong place at the wrong time, or were you like a bad guy?
No, I was a bad guy.
Really?
Yeah, I was I didn't know.
Are you telling the story? What'd you do?
I kidnapped a dude for drugs, for cocaine, with another dude, and then he went to turn on me. But It was.
So you kidnapped him and it was holding him hostage for them to bring you dope?
No, it was basically what it was supposed to be was the dude was going to sell me coke because he was going to leave town. He was going to rob his roommate. He had gotten busted at the hospital for stealing liquid cocaine after a DUI. This dude was crazy. So he was going to sell me the coke. Me, I'm thinking to myself, I could just rob this guy. So I got this other guy. I usually just work with Jersey guys, my friends I grew up with. I was out of my realm, and I used this other guy. And that guy tried to rob me. So it was just one of these things where I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but not really. I knew what I was going through, and at that time, this is what I needed. I knew when I was doing this that I was going to go to jail, in hindsight. I knew it. I knew that this was going to be a long shot, and it was just a day of horror. And that we didn't beat him or nothing like that.
Yeah, usually
we let him
drug
go.
dealers
Yeah, it was
pretty,
a burning.
it's pretty okay.
No, it was.
No, you could rob the drug dealer. Be like, what's he gonna do after he goes?
Right.
Well, this is the gentleman who was trying to abscond with my cocaine. I want you know what I mean. It's usually they don't have any recourse.
It was crazy. It was crazy because then the guy that the coke belonged to went to the police station. And he
That's
copped
hilarious.
To it, and he copped to it that.
See, that's
we
the thing
robbed
which
his
makes you
coke.
think
It
it's
was,
okay.
It was fucking crazy. This whole thing was crazy, but it was that old expression, what a tangled web we weave when we tangle to deceive. So I saw it evolve in front of me. But every day, the last couple of weeks, I've been writing just one story about my life.
I would love to have seen that when that guy came into the police station. Was like, so
his
I
name
would
was
like
Randy
I'd like to
Chambers.
report a crime.
I'll never forget that his name was Randy Chambers. And, you know, from what I heard years later, he wasn't a bad dude. He was just holding the coke for these guys, moving it for them. This guy stays at his house and discovers the coke. This guy that I kidnapped was no fucking angel. You know, I apologized to him. We're tight now. We talk on the phone from time to time. But he knows that he was no angel at the time. In fact, fresh off my situation, he got robbed again. He was involved in the same shit again. I bought coke from him 4 or 5 years later. I bought coke from him. At that time, he was on heroin. This kid was bad news for a while. Didn't give me the excuse to rob him.
But that's why he understood. He was a drug addict.
Yeah,
and
he
was
knew.
like, he's like, yeah, I understand.
He
man.
understood,
I
you know.
kidnapped. I could have been you.
So, but it's crazy that I was clean off coke for a year. And I moved to Aspen, and I was working at the Crestwood Hotel as a security guard. And at night. I was a security guard at night.
And breaking into people's houses to steal their
No,
coke?
I wasn't breaking into nobody's house at this time. I was on the level. I had a girlfriend. And we were staying at the employee housing at the Crestwood until my apartment opened up at the hotel. You had to wait a couple of weeks till somebody moved out, and then you got a free one-bedroom apartment for working there and a ski pass at the time.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. It was 1985, and I had been coke for a year. But I was hanging out with people that were doing coke, and one night I did it. Like, just before the year ended, I was like, fuck, I did 11 months. And after that, I was off and running. I wasn't crazy. I would just do a little bump from time to time. Then Danny Bianculo came out and started selling me ounces, and I would go to the East Coast and pick them up, like an eighth of a kilo. I'd pick up 9 ounces, 10 ounces, and bring them back, and I'd sell guns. And I got myself into this realm. But they had blown up this drug dealer. His name was Steve Graybo. They had blown him up in a car bomb. So his understudies were still around. The people that were moving coke from him were still around. And some of the people I knew were still getting coke from this Graybo organization. They were white dudes, the people I knew. It was a chick and a guy primarily. And all of a sudden they're selling coke for $1,800 an ounce. And I'm selling coke for $1,200 an ounce. And I'm giving them way better coke. So the word fucking got out. So one day, this kid calls me and he goes, hey man, my friends want to talk to you. They want to talk to you about maybe you going business with them. You don't even need to go back east. Maybe they'll just cut you a deal. I was a good fucking drug dealer at the time. I was selling the ounces. I had one guy that sold grams in Aspen, and I had another guy that sold grams in Snowmass Village. My prices were so good that I could pay these guys like good money. So these guys would sell an ounce a night. Like, they were fucking savage. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.